Can I go? So
Pwede namin.
for our topic is the phagoemulsification. So for the demographic data, so the name is Villanueva Conrado, age 61. Male, status is married. So patient information. So for the admitting diagnosis is senile manic cataract right eye, past medical history of high myopia with chief complaint of gradual vision loss or blurry vision. For the present medical history, so 61-year-old patient presents with a 2-year history of progressively worsening blurry vision in both eyes, with the right eye being more affected. They report difficulty driving at night due to glare and halos around headlights. Reading small prints has become challenging, even with updated glasses. The patient also notes colors appearing duller than before. Symptoms have significantly impacted ability to perform daily activities. For the proposed surgery, so phacoemulsification cataract surgery with IOL implant right eye. For the final diagnosis, it is the pseudophakia right eye. For the patient, surgical treatment is phacoemulsification, so it is a minimally invasive surgical procedure used primarily to remove a cataract, which is the clouding of the eye's natural lens. For the surgery, it is the phacoemulsification cataract surgery with IOL implant right eye. So the procedure involves breaking up and removing the cloudy lens using ultrasound energy, followed by the implantation of an artificial intraocular lens to restore clear vision. For the surgical position, so the best position is the supine position. So position the head securely. Use a headrest or cushion to stabilize the head and maintain alignment. Avoid pressure points, so ensure there is a adequate padding under the head, neck, and arms to prevent pressure injuries. And then maintain neutral body alignment. So body the patient's body should be straight, so with arms placed comfortably by their sides or on armrests. So observe for any unattended movement and reassure the patient is if necessary. So this is the type or site of incision.
So for the anesthesia, the type of anesthesia that was used is the local OPTHH major. The anesthetic agent is lidocaine. For our nursing responsibilities, we need to prepare anesthetic agents as prescribed, ensure availability of sterile equipment for administration, such as needles, syringe, anesthetic eye drops, and we need to verify emergency equipment if it is ready or available. Ensure the patient is in a comfortable supine position with their head stabilized. So these are the instrument that was being used in phacoemulsification. For the IMPONC, first is the pain management. So patients often experience post-operative pain or discomfort following cataract surgery due to inflammation, surgical trauma, and the healing process. For our assessment, regularly assess the patient's pain using a standardized pain scale. And for the comfort measures, we need to position the patient in a way that reduces strain on the eye and apply cold compress as tolerated to reduce inflammation and discomfort. For the rationale, pain is a natural response to surgical procedures, but unaddressed pain can hinder recovery, increase stress, and lead to complications such as delayed healing or anxiety. For the pain relief, is we need to administer prescribed analgesics such as acetaminophen, NSAIDs, or topical anesthetics depending on the level of pain. And timely and effective pain management promotes comfort or reduces anxiety and support the healing process. Next is the increased intraocular pressure or IOP. So post-operative IOP may rise due to inflammation, the use of steroid eye drops, or other factors such as retained fluid in the eye, which can increase the risk of optic nerve damage or other complications. In monitoring, we need to assess for symptoms such as eye pain, headache, or nausea, which may indicate increased IOP. For the medications, we need to administer prescribed anti-glaucoma medications such as the beta blockers or prostaglandins as ordered. For the rationale, elevated IOP can lead to glaucoma or other complications, particularly in patients with pre-existing ocular conditions. Monitoring IOP and addressing it promptly is vital for preventing permanent vision loss. Monitoring and managing IOP can prevent complications such as glaucoma, helping to preserve the patient's vision. Third one is the infection risk. Any surgical procedure, including cataract surgery, carries a risk of infections such as endophthalmitis, which can result from bacterial contamination during or after the surgery. In sterile technique, adhere to sterile techniques when administering medications and performing any necessary assessments, like checking for drainage. And we also need to educate our patients. So instruct the patient to avoid touching or rubbing their eye and to wear protective. For the rationale, infection can lead to serious complications such as vision loss or sepsis. Early detection and prevention are crucial for a successful outcome. And proper hygiene and prophylactic antibiotic use minimize the risk of infection, while education helps prevent patient-driven contamination. The fourth one is the nausea and vomiting. So nausea and vomiting can occur due to anesthesia or postoperative pain medications, often exacerbated by motion or positional changes. And hydration, encourage small sips of water to ensure the patient remains well hydrated to prevent dehydration. For our rationale, nausea and vomiting can cause discomfort, dehydration, and delayed recovery. Additionally, increased intra-abdominal pressure from vomiting could negatively impact the healing process or cause strain on the surgical site. Reducing nausea and vomiting promotes patients' comfort and supports the body healing process by preventing complications such as dehydration or strain on the eye. Next is the visual disturbances and discomfort. So temporary visual disturbances such as blurred vision, halos, or light sensitivity are common after cataract surgery as the eye heals. This can cause patient distress, and we need to educate the patient on the importance of follow-up appointments or checkups to monitor healing and vision. And the rationale are that these symptoms are typically temporary and part of the normal recovery process. However, failure to address patient concerns or inform them about what to expect may lead to anxiety or non-compliance with follow-up care. Educating the patient and addressing concerns early reduces anxiety and encourages adherence to post-operative care instructions, helping ensure optimal recovery. So for the discharge instructions, is use the prescribed antibiotic and anti-inflammatory eye drops as directed, because antibiotic drops prevent infection while anti-inflammatory drops reduce swelling and promote healing. So proper adherence minimize the risk of complications like endophthalmitis. Wear the protective eye shield at night for the first week and sunglasses during the day, because the shield prevents accidental rubbing or pressure on the operated eye while sleeping, and sunglasses protect the eye from bright light and UV exposure, which may cause discomfort. Third is keep the eye area clean and avoid touching or rubbing the eye. Do not allow water to enter the eye during bathing. Proper hygiene reduces the risk of infection, while avoiding water contact prevents contamination of the surgical wound. And lastly, report immediately if you experience severe pain, significant redness, vision, or flashes of lights. These symptoms may indicate serious complications such as infections, retinal detachment, or increased intraocular pressure, requiring urgent medical attention.
Lang. Nice.